race. Let's do a post-race recap right now. So first of all, I did enjoy the race very, very much. I didn't want it to end at some point. I was wishing it was another 5 to 7 laps because I was just enjoying the overtaking and a lot of the excitement. A big part of this race weekend was tire management and tire degradation. In fact, even though Max Verstappen continued his dark magic, him and the Red Bull team, he had an incredible race, a historic season. All credit goes to Max Verstappen and the Red Bull team. Even though Lando challenged him a little bit at the start, it was a really, really great race. And towards the end, I was wondering, man, I wonder if Max's soft tires are going to hold up. I thought the same thing for Lewis Hamilton, too, who came in third, as you know. And these guys were managing the soft tires while McLaren were on the hards. So it was really interesting to watch. So here we go. Tire degradation and tire management was a big part of the strategy for all of the teams in the, well, most of the teams that were competitive in the British Grand Prix. It was a very, very exciting race. Now, before we get to the recap, I want you to remember, we are only halfway through the season. We still have another 12 races to go. And Red Bull looks strong, but the second half of the season, there's been so much change. You know, all of these teams after Red Bull, you really don't know what can happen moving forward. So, very exciting. Buckle in. We still have a lot of racing to do. Now, Max comes in first. After the first 6-7 laps, he really does have it in hand. Then we have Lando Norris. Incredible job. I can't say enough. All you McLaren fans, I know you have to be going through the roof to have McLaren come in, Lando come in second. He did a great job defending. He did a great job on the start, and he did a great job defending on the restart with Lewis Hamilton in back of him on the soft tires. So Lando did a great job. Incredible job for Team McLaren. They absolutely murked Alpine. Both the Alpines did not finish, and McLaren jumps up in the standings to the 5th position. It looks like they are very strong for the next couple of races with the upgrades and everything working for McLaren, who started so badly at the beginning of this season. A lot of hope for the McLaren fans. After Lando, of course, Lewis Hamilton, I got to give him credit. He was another one. I wasn't sure how he was going to manage those soft tires at the end, but he did. He did, and he worked it with the restart and the safety car, and he ends up grabbing a podium in front of his home crowd as well at the British Grand Prix. So Lewis showed me something here today, and I give him credit for that. Oscar Piastri. Now, I know most of you voted for Lando Norris as driver of the day, and he was superb. But my driver of the day was Oscar Piastri. He is a rookie, and he was up there with champions and experienced veterans, and he hung the whole way and probably would have gotten a podium if not for the, fortunate safety car that really kind of helped Lewis Hamilton. So as much as I loved Lando driving today, and he was really incredible, he had a great car and he did a good job, I also really liked Oscar Piastri. And as a rookie, I just gave him my driver of the day, because when you're up there and you're fighting for it, you can't make any mistakes. And typically a rookie will make a mistake. So Oscar Piastri comes in 4th, great job. George Russell comes in 5th, managing a car that they're still trying to figure out. George is a great racer. He really is. I just give him credit. I guess 5th is about as best he could do, really. He tried to be aggressive and attack. I think he started off on the soft tires, but ultimately he finished where probably the best he could do today. After him, Sergio Checo Perez. Good job. Good job by Sergio. He had to come from where? 15th. And Sergio is 2nd in the championship points. He is 2nd in the standings. And he needs to do whatever he needs to do to make sure he stays in 2nd place. Right? So he's not a challenge to Max at this point. Now, if he can figure out his qualifying woes and finish where he's expected to finish, then I think it'll be a great season for him. So, not bad for Checo Perez. He didn't have the time to work up any further than he could have with the tires and the conditions and everything that was going on. But he did manage to go all the way up into 6th position and earn himself some points there. So Fernando did not have a really competitive car to be fighting for 2nd or 3rd. There has been some tapering off with the Aston Martins. Very curious to see their response over the next race or two. But Fernando, and I don't know if it was Fernando. I don't think his skills have degraded at all. So it really has to be the car. And the other cars, I don't know if they're continuing to work on them and they're getting better, or if the Aston Martin is just, slowing down in some respects. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be strategy really when it comes to Fernando. Let me know what you think in the comments regarding Aston Martin's fallback. So that's the deal with Fernando. I'm not sure. We need to give him another couple races. I don't think he's going anywhere, but he comes in 7th today. Alex Albon, great job for Williams. Great job for Alex Albon. They continue to make progress. They're going in the right direction. Logan Sargent, one of the other rookies, comes in 11th. I think that's his highest position of the season. Sure, there were a couple cars that did not finish. Sure, there were some penalties, but that's part of racing. It's not just the fastest car. You have to finish with a working car. You can't get penalized. You got to play within the rules. There's a lot of aspects to Formula One that come into play, and Logan Sargent gets that car into the 11th position at the end of the race. So congratulations to Logan Sargent, the American driver from Florida. Finally, after Alex coming in 8th, we have the 2 Ferraris. Consistency is the name of the game for Ferrari. They just can't consistently keep it working. Now, Charles comes in 9th and Carlos comes in 10th to get the last point. I think Carlos is ahead of Charles in the championship points right now. But there still seems to be a lot of trouble with the communication and strategy between Ferrari and their drivers, particularly Carlos. And, in this instance, I don't know what the issue is with Ferrari. I really don't. They shouldn't have been there 9th and 10th. They really shouldn't have. It seemed like they had a car at the beginning of the weekend that might have, been in the mix, and ultimately it gets away from them. So Ferrari's confusion really continues. They give you 1 week where you're happy and excited for them, and the next week they just fall off. It's just really, really curious. But we still have a whole half of the season left to go. So don't get too excited or too sad, because the whole second half is coming, and I expect there'll be a lot more chart changes throughout these positions here. So things look good for McLaren. Both of the Alfa Romeos, both of the Haas, and both of the AlphaTauris all finish in the bottom. Lance Stroll finishes out of the points. Those car programs are really in trouble, particularly Haas. If you've seen my other post, I thought, despite I know Gene and Gunther, they started that team together, but even if you put Gunther in another position within the team, I think it might be time for a fresh look over there at Haas. I just really do. You see some of these other teams that have made changes, McLaren, Williams, and you see some of the benefit that they're getting from these different people coming in. And I just wonder if that's the case for Haas. I really do. At this point, if it's not driver issues, they've had power unit car breakdown. Magnussen's car catches on fire this weekend. It just, they're a mess. And Haas really, I think, overall could be more competitive than they are. I think certainly if things were going well, I think they could have been more competitive, certainly, than Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri. So that's where we stand. Just 1 point on AlphaTauri. I think both of those drivers, they talk a lot about Yuki, but that whole program is looking at a revamp, which may include one or both drivers if the second half looks anything like the first half. So, Yuki has been doing good, and he's been close at time to points, but I would not be surprised if there's just a complete overhaul at AlphaTauri, including both drivers next season. But that's a little premature. Stick with me. I drop a video every day. Thank you for watching.